It may look like a beautiful day, but it's really cold and windy out here. I look like that kid on the Christmas Story movie that can't hardly walk because of all the clothes he has on. We're gonna tough it, get out on the lake, and show you some things that can help you catch fish this coming weekend in the early part of the spring. A lot has changed about our show going into this season, but a lot has stayed the same. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Glad you're with us. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Hi everybody, and welcome in to episode number 1 of Let's Fish TV. That's right, the first thing you'll notice if you've been a fan of our show for all these years is that the name has changed. We are now Let's Fish Southeast and Let's Fish Southwest. Why? Because that's what we do. We fish. So beginning this week, we're going to show you all the latest fishing action from your local region, beginning with what the white bass, stripers, and hybrid stripers are doing right now as they're getting ready to go up their spawning run in creeks and rivers near you. To help us do that, this is the maiden voyage for our brand new low Stinger 198 aluminum fishing boat. This thing is the Lexus of aluminum boats. You can see we've got it completely tricked out. That's the Motor Guide XI3 trolling motor. We've got Lowrance Elite TI graphs on it. We've got 83 square feet of fishing deck with all kinds of storage everywhere. The best upholstered fishing chairs, the most comfortable seats in the business, a console that's fully loaded with all the instruments and gauges, full live well system and everything you could possibly want, even our Mercury Pro XS 115 horsepower hanging on the back. So we're taking you this week to beautiful Possum Kingdom Lake in West Texas. This is the perfect test tube to demonstrate what the white bass hybrids and stripers are doing right now near you. It's loaded with them. So we're going to particularly fish for white bass this week. And while we do that, we're taking you around the region for your local fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays near you, both fresh and saltwater. So right now, let's get this low Stinger 198 down the boat ramp and into Possum Kingdom Lake. Next time you see me, I'll be out there. Right now, let's get things started back at the studio and your weekend planner.
Welcome back, everybody. We're so excited to jump into this new season with you. We're off to a great start with the Salooner tables predicting the best fishing of the month this weekend. Expect good game fish activity Saturday and excellent activity on Sunday. Look for those prime daytime hours to begin at 8:52 on Saturday and 10:57 on Sunday, with top evening action starting at 9:32 on Saturday and after 11:38 Sunday night. Look for the sun to rise at 6:49 and set at 6:31. Nights will be bright with a full moon. Also, don't forget to set your clocks forward 1 hour Saturday night for daylight savings time. We're coming right back with fishing reports from throughout the area, plus I'll return with catfishing expert Chad Ferguson on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stay with us.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Lose, Feel the Difference, and by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com.
Big old white, good grief. Look at this toad. Oh, baby. Take it, baby. Just biting it. There's one. I got him. Okay. We've got a fish on. I tell you, we're making the ultimate sacrifice today. This is tough. Whoa, he's fighting good too. Get him. What are you? Good white bass. There we go. There we go. That's a decent one to get it started. Okay, well, we've made it out on Possum Kingdom, and it's miserable out here. I'm telling you, we have had a spring cold front blow in, late winter, early spring, and the wind is howling out here, and it's cold, and we're dressed for it. This can happen in the spring, but the fish are still here, and wouldn't you know it, They're out here in the middle of the river channel. So let me explain kind of what's going on here, but there's a good white bass for you right there. We'll put that one back. And what's happening here is that the fish are staging. Every fish with a stripe down its side, which would be a white bass, a striper, or a hybrid striper, which is a cross between the two, are feeling the instinctive pull to move up the rivers and creeks to get ready to spawn. Stop it. It's miserable out here, but the fish are here. They're moving along the river channel. So they're going to follow the river channel in the main reservoirs until they either get all the way up in the river or up in the creeks. And that's where they're going to lay their eggs and spawn. But we're on Possum Kingdom Lake again. It's fed by the Brazos River, but it's a classic reservoir where these white bass will stage, get ready to spawn, and they're doing that where you live all across the Southwest and Southeast regions. We'll talk more about that, hopefully catch a few more, and explain how you find these fish.
Hi folks, and welcome to this season of Let's Fish and Lone Star Lakes. I want to welcome in our sponsor for the first part of the season. That's Fort Worth Fishing, one of DFW's premier guide services specializing in crappie. You want to catch some slabs this year? Give Fort Worth Fishing a call. Now, I was going to start in South Texas and talk about warming waters and fish moving up shallow, but Mother Nature threw a monkey wrench in my plans. Or should I say Blake Cockrell of Lubbock, when he caught a 1436 to be this year's first legacy class Sherrilunker bass caught in the state of Texas. He did that at Lake Allen Henry. So let's go there and catch big fish. Let's try 10 to 12 feet of water with your deep diving crankbaits or your bladed jigs or maybe even an A-rig. That should get you a pretty good bass out of Allen Henry. And for crappie fishing, we're gonna go where you might not think we'd go for crappie. And that's one of the best known bass lakes in the state, Lake Fork. They're still catching fish right now out a little deep, about 18 feet of water around the bridge columns and of course up near the dam. Now these fish are gonna move soon, so you'll wanna watch for them to make a major migration towards the mouths of the creeks. That's been this week's Lone Star Lakes on Let's Fish, brought to you by Fort Worth Fishing, great crappie fishing in the DFW area. Be sure and check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
That's a good pull there. That feels like a bigger fish. Got a striper here. This feels bigger than a white bass. Big old white. Good grief. Look at this toad. Oh, baby. I've caught the whopper of the whole Possum Kingdom Lake. Look at that big old female. That is a fat dude right there. What a toad. All right, it's really cool the way I'm catching these fish. I'm actually watching my bait go down. We shot our Lowrance Elite TI2 display. It's my 9-inch display back there on the console. And down at the bottom around 28 to 32 feet, that's where these white bass are hanging. And you can see these are all fish. Then I drop my bait right below the transducer. So I've got my transducer on my trolling motor. I'm letting it go down until it gets to the level where the fish are. Then I stop it. Then once I stop it, I just let it hang in that area and I gently swim it up and down, and that's where I'm catching all these fish. You can literally force these fish to bite. That is so cool. How about that? That's what you can catch, and you can keep a bunch of them. Here in Texas, you can keep 25 per person per day. Hey, welcome back everybody. We're still at Possum Kingdom Lake in Texas today, demonstrating what the white bass hybrids and stripers are doing right now, getting ready to spawn. And this is such a finesse technique I'm having to use to make these fish bite right now. I'm watching my Lowrance Elite TI2 up there, and I can see these fish kind of arching up. Here's one right here. I got him. There we go. and I can watch these fish swimming up off the bottom, and I'm just having to crawl it up off the bottom. That's a good one. Good one. There we go. Come aboard. Fatty. Look at there. That one's getting ready to spawn. Let me explain this technique for you. I'll show you this fish. How about that? That's what you can catch, and you can keep a bunch of them. Here in Texas, you can keep 25 per person per day. We're not keeping them today. So here's what I'm doing. I've located these fish in the river channel, and I'll explain how to find them in a river channel in just a second. But what I'm doing right now is I'm in 39 feet of water. So I'm opening the bail of my Loose Speed Spin. New reel on the market that's really smooth. And I'm just spooling line off. I've got it spooled with braided line, and I'm letting that bait go all the way to the bottom. Now, once it gets to the bottom in that real deep water, hitting the bottom with it, and then I'm just using a lifting, crawling it up off the bottom. And these fish are from the bottom to about 5 feet off the bottom. So usually they're hitting it somewhere in that lift like that. And when these fish are finicky, like they are today on a cold front day, they don't like this. They're sucked down against the bottom. You can literally force one to bite. He just can't stand it, and he's got to bite it by just that lift and crawling technique. And the bait that I'm using, by the way, on this crawling technique, you don't want to use really a crankbait or spoon or something like that. I'm just using a little soft plastic bait on a 1/4 ounce lead head. That's a Gene LaRue bait. I'll show it to you at the end of the show, but that's what you want to do to use that crawling technique. Let's see if we can catch another one.
I'm Captain Kevin Broussard coming to you from Louisiana. Tell you what, we're going to start the year off talking to you about Toledo Bend. Lots of white perch getting caught, shiners and tube jigs in about 6 to 12 foot of water. Tell you what, don't forget bass action's kicking off, lots of spawning bass. If you catch a big one up on a bed, why don't you go ahead and let her go and do her thing. Saltwater fishing, Calcasieu Lake, right here at Cajun Paradise Charters. Lots of flounders making their way back in for your spring migration. Few redfish and trout showing up, but the rains have slowed things down just a little bit. For Old Cajun Phil, I'm Captain Kevin Broussard saying happy fishing. May God bless, and we're going to see y'all each and every week right here.
Hey, welcome back, guys. It's a new year, a new fishing season, and a new name for this show, now called Let's Fish. Same great host and Barry Stokes, same weekly reports coming in from across the region, and 39 weeks of lots of fun, packed action in fishing. Now, our lakes here in Oklahoma are actually starting out in really good shape to kick off this season. You see here a crappie guide from the Grand Lake area, Adam Mason, is having some good trips on the Grand River system between Lake Hudson and Grand Lake, catching these crappie 2 to 3 feet off the bottom in about 25 foot of water. Now, Kevin DeLong caught these crappie at Skytook Lake, about 8 foot down in 12 foot of water. Kevin was using a larger profile, going with the Bobby Garland minnow minder in combo with a baby shad, making a larger profile, making an easy meal for those crappie. Great time of year to be fishing in Oklahoma. It's going to just keep getting better as the days get longer, and you can catch them, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Motor Guides Tour Pro, cable steer motor with GPS anchor, Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist, Strike King, Taiwan On, and by Low Boats. Welcome to Low Country.
Using my electronics, and I'll show you a shot of my chart, and I'm following the river channel on the chart. Got it. Boy, they are hitting it so light. Just barely hitting it. Not a big one, little male. Another little male right there, but a good one nonetheless. And let's talk just a minute about how we're finding these fish. Using my electronics, and I'll show you a shot of my chart, and I'm following the river channel on the chart. And in particular, you want to pay attention to the places where the river channel makes a bend. If you can find a nice hard bend in the channel, like the one we're highlighting here, we're sitting right on top of that. That's the kind of place that these fish will pile up in big numbers. Now, the females and males will mix together. That's a little male, not a big one, but And what'll happen is they'll sit in these channel swings, in these bends, and in the deep holes right at the mouths where the river dumps into the reservoir. You find those places, they gang up there and they sit. And they wait for days and days until finally just the right combination of current and water temperature hits. And typically that water temperature is in the low 50s, low to mid 50s, somewhere in that range. And that triggers them instinctively to swim upstream. And as soon as they hit that current, they go straight upstream all the way to real shallow water, about 2 to 3 feet deep. They'll free cast those eggs, the females will, and then the males will come in behind and fertilize them. And they just free float down that current, and that's the way those eggs hatch. Come back into the reservoir, and the whole process starts over again, the circle of life. That's how you find these places where they pile up, staging, getting ready to spawn.
Hey folks, Captain Greg Varm here for this week's Upper Texas Coastal Report. Hey, we are so excited to get the 2020 season underway and bring you some action-packed and up-to-date fishing reports around your local region. Hey, let's get started in Galveston. I tell you, we're in pre-spawn patterns for 2 incredible species, the bay snapper, aka sheepshead, and the black drum. We are seeing good numbers moving in from the Gulf and staging along both north and south jetties. Hey, live shrimp, free line tight to the rocks is a ticket for the bay snapper. Now also, just in time for spring break, hey, we have monster black drums showing up. 18 to 25 foot of water with fresh cracked crab along the bottom, and you're in for a big battle. Now over here in Freeport, hey, for those wanting to wade the flats, awesome spec action in both Christmas and Bass Drop Bays. Hey, if you're looking for a great getaway for spring break, hey, give me a call, check out our websites, and let's fish.
There's one. Another good one. That one's up shallower. Come up here, buddy. All right, there's one more for you. Hey, I want to mention a couple of more things. One is birds. Use the birds to help you locate where the fish are. They don't have to be diving at the water. It helps if they are. That means they're feeding. But they can just be sitting on the water or circling overhead. We've got a lot of these white seagulls that are just hanging out right here in this area. That was one of the tips that showed us where these fish were. And secondly, I want to mention where we're staying. I stayed at a place last night. I've been fishing Possum Kingdom Lake my whole life, but I stayed at a place called Lush Resort. It's at the old Scuba Point. If you're familiar with the lake and know where that used to be, these folks have come in here and done a great job. Beautiful hotel rooms, beautiful bungalows for a family, pools, situated right on the shore of Possum Kingdom Lake. Great restaurant, bar, everything you could want in one location. It's called Lush Resort. You can find it very easily on your Google Maps or your whatever app you use. And very nice folks, beautiful appointed rooms, Wi-Fi, big screen televisions, everything you could want right on the shore of Possum Kingdom Lake. So contact them if you want a place to stay out here. And secondly, if you want to book a guide trip, if you don't know the lake and you want to come here and catch some of these good white bass, Steve McVeigh's a good buddy of mine. Known him for 30 years. Great striper fisherman, great white bass fisherman. He can put you on some of these fish. He helped us get in the right area to find these fish today. And then also Mike Acosta's a good buddy of mine that guides here and some other lakes around North Texas as well. So that's all your contact information for right here at Possum Kingdom Lake. This technique will work where you live if you have white bass in your reservoir.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Bobby Garland Crappie Baits and the original Baby Shad and new slab Huntar Minnow. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Balls Out. Made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders. And by Camus Boats. Tomorrow's tournament boat today.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Jarrett wants to know, what kind of fishing line should I use for catfish? For an answer, we asked catfishing expert Chad Ferguson.
For channel catfish, I like 35-pound test braided fishing line. When I'm fishing for channel catfish, I'm usually fishing in heavy timber, rocks, riprap, or other heavy cover where you're really prone to snags. And I like that 35-pound test braid because I can really pull those lines loose when I hang up and I can horse those fish out of that heavy cover. Now when fishing for blue catfish and flathead catfish, I like 30-pound test, high visibility monofilament fishing line. The reason for monofilament fishing line over braid when you're fishing for those larger catfish is that you're typically fishing with multiple rods. And when you hang up, when fishing with multiple fishing rods, you want to be able to break that line free as quickly as possible to keep from tangling your other lines up.
Thank you, Chad. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to letsfishtv.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
Hey everyone, we're back at the boat ramp and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Let's Fish Big Catch of the Week contest. He is Dylan Scott of Foss, Oklahoma, showing a 10.7-pound largemouth bass he caught at Fort Cobb Lake in western Oklahoma. If you'd like a chance to have you and your fish shown on Let's Fish television, just go to our website at letsfishtv.com, and right on the front page toward the bottom is the area you click to follow the instructions. Send in your big fish photo and you might be on television. Next up, here's some of the gear that was critical to finding and catching these white bass staging for the spawn. It began with the Lowrance Elite TI2 fish finder. We used that sonar to watch the fish down toward the bottom, watch the bait mixed in. We dropped our lure in. We could actually see the lure under the transducer. When it got down to the level of the fish, they would bite it nearly every time. The perfect rod and reel is the Lou's custom speed stick rod. This is a medium light action rod. You don't want a big broomstick in order to catch these fish. You want something with some tip to it so that you can fight those fish. It's perfectly matched with the new Lou's Speed Spin Reel. You can check these out at their website at lous.com. We had spooled up with 10-pound test braided line. I love braided line on a spinning reel. And then the bait that we used to catch all of these fish was a 1/4 ounce lead jig head, and then the plastic on the back of it is a Bobby Garland slab slayer. It's traditionally thought of as a crappie bait, but it did a great job of catching these white bass. This is the larger of the two sizes of the slab slayer. I travel a lot. The other day, I was in a hotel fitness room on a treadmill when the maintenance lady walks through, takes one look at me and says, I never see anybody in here. I got to thinking about that and it made me sad. Why? Because we need to be more fit. As Americans, our normal day is we get up, eat our breakfast, and rush into all the things we have planned, never stopping to plan time to do some kind of exercise. Experts say that at least 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise 3 times a week is a great place to start. Would you consider joining me in taking one little step towards fitness for you, for your loved ones, for your family, and working out 3 times a week for at least 30 minutes a day? It would be a great place for all of us to begin. I'm so glad you joined us this week from Possum Kingdom Lake in West Texas. If you'd like to come here and catch some of these white bass like you saw us catching on this week's episode, you can contact Steve McVeigh at the information you see on your screen. He can bring you out here to catch those, or the stripers, the big ones that swim here as well. And if you need a great place to stay, Lush Resort, right on the shores of Possum Kingdom Lake, is a beautiful spot to come here and fish and even bring your whole family along. From West Texas, until next week, this is Let's Fish. I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see more fishing tips, how-to videos, big fish catches, and full episodes of our Let's Fish TV show, be sure to subscribe right here to our YouTube channel. You can also like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Good fishing out there.